In this video, we will cover how citizen data scientists can use BDB platform to provide seamless analytics. The role of a citizen data scientist is not only of a data engineer or of a data scientist or a visualization expert, but they are expert in the domain and they are able to understand the business, do the deep research, and come up with insights which helps businesses to progress further. And we will see that how using BDB platform one can achieve seamless analytics without the help of IT. So here I'm just logging into the BDB platform, and what we will do is we will start from the beginning. So here we can see that it has a lot of modules from admin, user, data center, preparation, and all that. Let's go to the data preparation. And here what we will do is we will create a new workspace. And in this new workspace, we'll just get, for simplicity, two data sources, and we'll try to join them together. And any data related to them, we will try to merge, we will try to clean. So first I'm selecting a MySQL data, which I'm getting it from my hiring team. So this is the hiring sheets, which I have taken first. So this we get it from a lot of recruiters. And I can select, or I can at present don't do this. I have just saved it. One input file. I can save another input file, which will be talking about the monthly salaries of these folks. And how they have been tracked against the actual values. So these two we have connected, and what we will do is we will save the workflow first, and we will say that citizen data scientist workflow, and we'll select a space where this is there. So this is our ETL tool, and I have saved a workspace, and I will do a left join on the basis of candidate IDs, because this is what is a matching column in both the cases, and this is good enough. I can actually save it again just to ensure that I don't lose anything. Now what I can do is, so the sheet that I get from recruiters will have a lot of junk data, and what I can do is I can do some data preparation by launching my data quality or data cleansing product. So this will help you to remove all the anomalies. You can even modify the data. You will be able to track or record different type of steps and all that. And so we'll just go and start loading the data. Decision platform. So this is the data cleansing stuff. A lot of data profiling is in progress. You can see that it has just read the data in the flash. So here what is going to happen is column by column it will start doing the profiling, and then we'll be able to find out all the anomalies inside. So here it is able to find out all these anomalies, and as we move towards right, you can see that it will be start talking about how many columns are left blank and all the issues about this data. And on the right hand side, you can see that there is a profile, there is a transforms. There's a lot of transforms being written here. So let's start using them. What we will do is quickly first is just to search for, let's say, 0, and I'm just replacing 0 with male, and let's do that. So what it will do is in this column, it will be identifying all the zeros and convert them into male. And similarly, what we will do is we will just convert one into female so that this gets into some order. Okay, and we have done that. But here we have observed that sometimes M is small and sometimes M is large. So I'm just going to convert this into a title case, and we will move towards source, destination, and team also towards the title case. And you will observe here that these steps are increasing. So it is able to record all these steps. So what happens is, even if I move away from this, my workflow is saved. So if I launch it again, I will be able to do this. And if I'm able to do any wrong step, also I will be able to use my undo, and all those type of basic operations are there. So in this, what we have provided is either I can export this directly into my data store, or I wanted to move that into an Elastic through the ETL process as well. So now what I will do is, this actual joining date is important for me, and I wanted to do a transformation of this in terms of this becomes like a proper date format. So what I will do is I'll search for a regular expression, and I will just try to remove all these th and other things and then replace with a space and submit this. So this will clean up my actual joining date. And now since actual joining date is cleaned up, and you can see that my steps are increasing. Now this is important for me to fill this column, which is joining status. So joining status is basically, I need to fill cells with a value. And so this is a column which is my actual joining date, and I can just submit that. And once I get the actual joining date here, so I think then it is easy for me to do search and replacement in terms of a regular expression, where anything which is starting into a date format, I can just replace with word joined. So I know that, okay, these are the people who have joined. I can do some more operations, but like experience, I can actually do the round value with seal with a 0 precision so that it is perfect. And all my experience, I didn't want to see it in decimals, so this I will be able to do interesting thing. And then you can see that there are some columns or rows where number of experience is actually blank. But at present, I will not worry about it. And you can see that all these 10 steps have been recorded. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and export this into our ETL. It says that it has been written successfully to our ETL product. And so this means that these two inputs are clean. They have been joined together. What we have to do is we have to put that into an output format, and I will just put this into an output format and then convert this into any form that I want. So Elastic RDBM is NoSQL Hadoop, but here what I will do is I will create an Elastic one with citizen data scientist workflow as my data store name. And immediately, since it's a small data, I can see all my dimensions, measures, and time dimensions, but I don't want the candidate ID or ID through which I joined them. And quickly enough, I've been able to create a data elastic shell. Now I wanted to save this workflow and then write this data into this elastic cube, and let's do that. So execute processing started, and then it will just start writing everything into the elastic. Now, the second most important role for citizen data scientist is that now how this data that we have merged and cleaned it up using a data preparation tool, how can we uh, send this into the predictive workbench? So we have a very extensive predictive workbench here where we have R space and Spark R, Python, and neural networks. But since the problem which we are trying to address at present is very small, so we'll just get into a Python workspace and we will create a workflow where there is no data scientist required. So what we will do is we will just go into a data store. So you can read different type of data sources, but what I'm doing here is just trying to read a data source which we have just created right now, CDS workflow. And you can see that all the dimensions measured it is able to find out. It is having 21 check filters and I am applying this. Once I have applied it, now I will have to do missing value replacement because if you see, we are trying to predict uh, salaries on the basis of number of years of experience. And we saw that in the experience column that there can be zero values are there. So what we are doing is for those we will where there's no value, we will just find out a mean of them. And monthly salary, if there is no value, we'll just remove all of them and we can just apply this. We'll just make them a little bit closer. Once we have removed the missing value, we can split the data into 70-30 to train the algorithm. So 70% is train and 30% is test. And we have seen that since there is a gender, and if all the first 7 values will be only males or females, then it can create a issue. So I think we are shuffling it and we are stratifying gender here and apply this here. So simple. Once we have trained data, we will push that into the predictive algorithm, and you can see that. So this is the dependent column is the monthly salary on which we wanted to do the prediction, and experience is the independent column on which we wanted to do the prediction. And then I think predicted salary, we will just say predicted, and we can just apply for simplicity. We'll see anything is required in the advanced tab. We have already taken care of all of this, so this is all fine. What we have to do is we have to just apply the Python apply model, and test data will come here and algorithmic data will come here. And in the apply model, this is all fine. We'll just apply this here. And now we will have to write it. So we will just be able to do the data store writer, connect it here. So this is simple because in actual, if you wanted to, let's say your data science team wants to write algorithms, so they can use any of these predefined scripts which we have provided for very different type of segments, and save your own scripts, and then you can push your own scripts and pass through this. But since this is a citizen data scientist flow and simple one, so now we are just going to write into a data store, and we will say that we are creating a new data store where we will say citizen data scientist data store. Sorry, this we will say citizen data scientist data store. And we are just going to, since this is first time, so we will just override it, and we'll see anything has to be done in the advanced, no, nothing. There's a lot of batch queries and all that, but this is a OK load for the system, and we will apply this. So once we have applied, this entire workflow is there. I think it's better to save it, because in case if there are some errors, we will come back to it and we'll say that citizen data scientist workflow. We'll just save it. Now, when we have pressed the save, what it has to do is it will go through the entire flow in terms of how we have designed it, and we'll save everything. Now, what we have to do is we have to just run. We can run it immediately right now. The process has been initiated, and we can see that in the console that it is able to read our Elastic Store. It's all fine. Python is fine. Splitting is fine. So I think it's showing that everything is fine here. So what we can do is now we can go to the visualization layer and see how it is working. We don't want to touch these two screens. Let's go here and try to create a business story, which is our self-service BI. So in this case, we will say that citizen data scientist business story, and I save this. And here, what we will do is we will call the, so it in the system, there might be hundreds of data stores. So it is just trying to load all of them together to find out which data store I'm interested in. And it's a citizen data scientist data store, which I'm more interested in, because this is where I have put my predicted values. So I just wanted to confirm the name. Yes, citizen data scientist data store. And I can come back here and then see whether the predicted value is there or not. It's okay, good. What I can do is, on the basis of gender, I can do a USD billing and then convert this into a pie and then save it. So 70% of my billing is through males and 29% is through females. So just to get some idea around it. Now, more important thing for me is to really understand what I did with the predicted values. So here we'll try to find out few things in terms of if I want to do a designation wise monthly salary and predicted salary. Since there are too many roles, it's difficult for me to make out, but what I will do is I will just go sort it out, and I wanted to see top 20 first. What are the top 20 roles? I will just save it and then view it here. So once I'll save it and view it here, I can see, oh, like what type of salaries I will have to pay more, what type of salaries I have to pay less. But like this looks like a, oh my God, huge gap. There's something problem with director of analytics. Okay. Then again, director is a problem. Then again, director of QA is a problem. So looks like director is a problem. And that I have found out after doing the regression. Let me go to my data prep and then try to see why director is a problem. Let me go to designation. And so it will say the designation, it is like this, but I wanted to search for all these directors. Okay, so there are so many directors of analytics and this and that. Okay, so I can search it out in that way. And you can see that, oh, so all these columns are, okay. This is all empty, and in my company, basically, we wanted to have this at least 20 years. So, okay. So let's go to the experience and then try to put the details again. We'll remove this. And then we will see that the experience columns is there, and if we can do some transformation. So I think this has just logged out. But what we will do is we will change the filled cells with value. No, I'll just use filled cells with text with a value, and I can just put, let's say, 20 years and then try to submit this. So that wherever the directors was not being filled with number of years, this is all fine. Now, but I have to repeat the entire process again, and I will have to export this into the ETL. This has gone into ETL. Uh, well, I will have to save this for now here, go into my ETL and see what happened to my file. So as I have just to ensure that I exported that to ETL, yeah, I'll just save this workflow again, and I will write it back, the changed data into the Elastic. So it will write it back, and what I have to do is once I have come here,
So once we have saved that back into the Elastic, what we have to do is we will go to our saved workflow once again, and we'll try to run this again and see that we will save into the CDS data store and overwrite that. So it might just create another one, and let's run it. And so so it might have some cache issues, but I think there should not be any problem here. And once it is run completely, we will again go to the data store, and then we'll try to see how this data store is a little bit different as compared to the past one, so that we can see that whether the algorithm change has made some uh, permanent changes. So I think this we are able to run, and this is our um, business story with the old algorithm. So let's try to create these two in the new data store, and what we can do is we can do a test uh, data store which is completely blank for now, test business story, and then what we can do is we can just take the latest version of the data store here and see if it has updated it. So again, I'll go to designation, I'll go to predicted. Okay, I'll go to monthly salary. I'll just change them. Okay, and let's go. Let's sort them out. Let's do a 20 limit. Let's save it, and let's change the thing. Let's see if a little bit change is there. I think so. There is some change in terms of director, but it is still not done it very 100% correct. But let's see. What we will do is we will create another one on the basis of the skills. So here is my skill. Here is my monthly salary on the basis of the skill, and this is my predicted salary basis on the skills. And I go to properties. I go to sort. and I save it. Now once I save it, I can just see this. Now here, the most important thing is, okay, so I think I've just done one small mistake here to do the analysis in a proper manner, and that is we wanted to find out the mean of it. So mean of the salaries, and I have applied it, and I will have to sort them out again. Here we go. So we can see that in case of director, the mean predicted is 87,000 here, and in our original one, the mean predicted was 37,000. So this means that it has increased it by 50,000 more. So definitely there is some improvement which has happened only from the algorithm, but it is still not been able to take care of it 100%. So this means that there may be some more issues left, which the citizen data scientist can work with the data scientist and try to rectify it. Then what I can do is there is a unique search capabilities available where I can just say team wise monthly salary, and what it will do is it will be able to predict, or it will be able to, through our AI based search, it will be able to find out all the team wise monthly salary, and you can just see that. And you can do it even for a role, monthly salary for a QA engineer. So you can see that it has made the query in such a way that designation is QA engineer and then monthly salary by the team. And since I was looking for this type of a chart, I can just do that and I can just pin it. So once I pin it, this will get saved and this will go into my um, business story. And likewise, I can do more queries. And now what we will do is we will take it to a next level where we can do the same searches through the mobile by using our voice based search.
Let me log into my mobile app and see whatever business story we have just created now is has come to my mobile or not. And then let's try to play with it. So you can see that this business story is there and it is opening up. And here I can do most of my operations of here itself. For example, if I wanted to see this complex chart and then wanted to see the source and wanted to list all the people that I've hired through the internal drives, then I can see that, yeah, I can get some more sanity to my data. But here, what my aim is to use my voice-based search. So what I'll do is I'll just use voice-based search for some simple queries and see how it works. Show me top five team by experience. Now it will automatically create a query and then will be able to show me top five teams by experience. And what I can do is I can just save this into my overall business story, my self-service BI, and I said, okay, let's, and it has come here, and we will see whether it has come to the uh, web or not. Let's do one more. Top five skills by experience. And so it will be able to identify what are the top most demanding skills in our hiring process. And then you can see that it is like this here. And just to identify or distinguish, I'll just save this as a pie chart here. Now, what we will have to do is we will go to our, we'll just save this. from the mobile action, let's move back to the screen and then let's try to refresh it and see whether the charts we have created in mobile has come here or not. And once I open this, we will be able to see that the charts which we created are here in terms of sum of experience and experience by the team. So this means that whatever we did on the mobile has come here, and you can bring in some more action in terms of if you wanted to add, let's say, drill on the basis of gender, even in the charts coming from the mobile side or on the designation one, only three of them. And then we can add this type of an action so that when we'll see when we have done it on males, so all these only three charts we can see is filtered on the basis of males. And if we have done it female, filter on female, it will be able to do the charting on the basis of the female. And what we have done is, as we are moving ahead, we have made this very simple in terms of the business stories will have uh, predefined queries, and then you can just select the query, and then you will be able to get the uh, charts, and then you will be able to just thumbs it up, and then that query will get saved. And you can just modify the existing query and then put something more and then do the searches. So here I'm able to do for one more state like this. So that way we have made this technology extremely easy for citizen data scientists to explore and then contribute to their organizations with deeper insights. Thank you.